Welcome to another Tesla Tips and Trips video, and on today's episode, many may wonder, how did I get here? How did I get interested in electric cars? How in the world did I end up with a YouTube channel? We're going to go through my EV resume the moment I decided, you know what, this is something I want to get interested in, and we'll take you through the entire progression all the way up until today. So this is Tesla Tips and Trips. Keep it here. Okay, longtime viewers of the channel know that I have two Teslas currently. I've got a 2019 Tesla Model 3 SR Plus, and this car is a Tesla Model Y Performance from 2022 year model. But before that, did I own any EVs? How long have I been using EVs? When did I get interested in EVs? Well, I'm going to take you back to that moment. I was on the couch watching TV. This is 2013. And electric cars were not even on my radar, were not part of my vocabulary. In fact, I don't even know if I knew they existed, to be honest. I've been a longtime car guy since I was a kid. I remember watching the Indianapolis 500 year after year, just loving cars and watching cars on the road and just, you know, loving their details and how they're different and all that stuff. Always been a car guy and have owned a ton of other cars before. And in 2013, I'm on the couch and I see a commercial, a Toyota commercial for this. And I saved it. I'm so happy I saved this. This is so cool. This is a RAV4 EV. As you can see, all electric, all SUV. And it's basically the gas version of the RAV4. And they put a new front nose clip on it. They put a rear clip on it that's slightly different, and on the sides you could see by the door it said electric, I think is what it said. And I saw this on the TV commercial, and the TV commercial was so powerful, so interesting, so engaging, so different that I rolled back the DVR like several times, and it just got the mind going like, there's another way to drive cars, there's another fuel alternative, there's another way to get around. And I remember calling my wife into the room. I said, what do you think of this? And I played the commercial again, and she's like, I like it. I like the idea, I like the look, I like everything about it. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I went from not knowing anything about EVs to joining groups for this particular vehicle. There were several out there at the time, and just trying to absorb everything and anything about electric cars and this particular car in general. And keep in mind, this is 2013 and eventually 2014 when we bought one of these. There weren't a lot of choices out there. Now there's at least 100. I mean, there's a lot of EV choices out there now. Back then, if I recall, there was the Tesla Model S, there was this, there was the Leaf, and there was the Volt, which was the gasoline hybrid, also a plug-in. Not really any other viable alternatives. If you can think of another one, let me know down in the comments. But I remember doing the research and seeing, well, what else is out there? What else can we, look into that might be better than this? And we're like, you know what? This is an EV, which we're interested in. It's an SUV, so it's got plenty of storage, which we were totally into. We were replacing a Lexus RX 400h. So we were still in the Toyota thing. This was a compliance vehicle in California. They only made, I think, 2,600 of them. So there's only 2,600 of them out there. Obviously, less any ones that have been wrecked and retired and all that stuff. So we had this car. We bought it in 2014. The thing I want to let you know about this, it's a Tesla. Not a lot of people know that. Sure, it's a Toyota outside, but they had an agreement with Tesla to provide the battery and the motors and the CPU and all the electronics and all that stuff. I've got pictures of it. Hopefully I can throw them up on the screen here. It's all Tesla. And I believe it was Model S. There were no Ys and 3s at the time. It's a Model S motor. Let's take a look at some of the stats here. You're gonna get blown away by the range. 103-mile range. That's it. No superchargers at the time. I believe superchargers were starting to just roll out. There might have been 5 or 6 out there, but this car couldn't use them anyway. Not only that, no DC fast charging, no Chademo at all, unless you did an upgrade through a private company down in San Diego. I think the guy's name is Tony Williams. He was offering Chademo upgrade, not part of Toyota or anything. It was under the hood, so you had to pop the hood to charge DC fast, and I think the fastest was 50 kilowatts. So it came out of the box with just J1772 in the garage. And so 103-mile range. And what we were buying this for was for my wife to commute down the 5 and the 405 down to her job. And we did all the math and did all the calculations and did all that stuff and realized, you know what? She could make it there and back, cutting it close every single day. But her job also had J1772s. She got there early enough in the morning to where she could drive down there, charge up, drive back, drive down, charge up. I mean, it was seamless. We put 55,000 miles on this car. Why? Because it was a lease deal that Toyota had. They just wanted to get them on the road. It was unlimited mileage lease. So we're like, you know what? We're going to use the heck out of this thing. So for those that say range is huge and you can't drive these cars and it's only around town, sure, that's pretty much all we used it for. But at the same time, we racked up the miles. 55,000 miles on a car that only goes 100 miles at a time, and you got to charge it really slow because we never did the Chademo update. So it lived its entire life on J1772, charging at home, charging at work, back and forth. So yeah, 100-mile range. Only had a 10 kilowatt input, J1772 connector, had a 35 kilowatt hour battery, 41. Oh yeah, there was an extended mode, so you could use a little more, 41.8 kilowatt hour if you went into extended mode, if you needed that little bit extra. It had normal and sport mode. I could tell you it was fast. It was Model S fast, although I think it was dialed back a little bit. It had to have been dialed back because now I'm looking here, it says 154 horsepower. Yeah, Model S's were definitely faster. But for my first electric car, my first experience with an electric car, I was like, man, instant torque, this is awesome. This is so cool. You can see here on the back here, you can see some of the screen capture images. This is what it looked like. So I've got all the stats here. I can probably post this along with the video, but this was the 2014. They came in 3 model years. I believe it was 12, 13, 14. So this was the last year of this model. We had it in silver. And I got pictures of it. I'll show them on the screen here. But this was our first electric car. And this is what got it going. And since this car, we never looked back. Now, because this was all electric and because it was J1772 and because it only had a 100-mile range, we needed a road trip car. What did we decide to do? We had to, as a family, you know this channel, we like to road trip. Even back then, we liked to road trip. We had 2 small kids. We decided to buy a 2014 Chevrolet Volt. And we love the heck out of it. Yes, it used gas. Yes, it only went about 35, 40 miles on the battery. But I worked from home even back then. And for the most part, that car lived on battery. On the occasion that we went on to a road trip, we had the gas car. I remember going trips to Mammoth. The thing was tiny inside. No frunk, because that's where the engine was. And we stuffed it. I mean, we found holes in that car to stuff things like you wouldn't believe to do Mammoth trips. And that was our road trip car for the longest time. I think we had it 3 years. I think we did 45,000 miles in that car. And that was our road trip car for the longest time. Next up, we had to upgrade this car because the lease was ending. We didn't want to renew the lease. I believe it was a 3-year lease, unlimited mileage, so we didn't have to worry about that. Handed it in. It was a sad day. And so our next car, because we had the Chevrolet Volt, the Chevrolet Bolt with a B was just coming out, and that piqued our attention, and that had a great range. Hundreds of miles. I want to say 240 on the first Bolt that we got. And we put a lot of mileage on that Chevrolet Bolt. That was the new commuter car. And what was great about that one We got that one without DC fast charging as well. And I remember being part of the Bolt groups at the time on Facebook saying, well, you're crazy. Why wouldn't you get DC fast charging? Why? Well, because we lived so long with this one with just J1772. We leased that car as well. Why spend the money? And again, we put another like 50,000 miles on that car. No DC fast charging, didn't road trip it. It was just a commuter car. After that lease was done, we leased another Bolt. So we had a 2017 Bolt, then we went to a 2019 Bolt, and that became the commuter car. That one did have DC fast charging because at the time, there were not a lot around. We wanted a gray one. We ended up getting a black one because that was the only one around our like 50-mile radius. We went to 100. There was only a couple. So we went with a black one. It had DC fast charging on it already. I think I used it twice. And one of them was just to try it out, to see what it was like. And man, it's slow. It's like 55 kilowatt peak. Not fast at all. I would not recommend one of those. Even today, I don't think they're any faster. I think that's still the peak on the Bolt. Even the new ones, the EUV. So those two although those three were our commuter cars, the Volt was our long-range road tripping car. And then we got into Teslas. One day, we kind of realized our oldest son was not fitting in the back of the Volt anymore, our long-range car, and we're like, okay, what's next? We got to figure it out. And that's when we bought our 2019 Tesla Model 3, which we still have. And, you know, as the kids grow, he was still fine in the back of the 3. The Volt was just not going to work anymore. And our kids are getting taller and taller and taller. So we got the Tesla Model 3, and that's kind of what launched us into Teslas, although technically this was a Tesla as well. So it's our third Tesla, kind of, at least drivetrain. And we've had that car. We love that car. We have taken that car so many places. Our longest 2 road trips in the Tesla Model 3, and it's an SR Plus, so not a long range, roughly charges at 210 miles. We've been to Tahoe in Los Angeles. That's one of our long trips, and then Los Angeles to Zion. So those were our 2 longest trips in that car. Now, our longest road trip to date wasn't even in a car we owned. It was in Europe. And you can go check out that video as well. So we still have that car. And then in December of 2021, we took delivery of our Tesla Model Y Performance, which I'm sitting in now. And kids are growing. Need a bigger car. We need more space in the back. This is now the commuter car, which again is why it has 25,000 miles on it in just about a year and a half. And it's also our road trip car. Now, short road trips, we're still taking the 3. You know, Santa Barbara trips, San Diego trips, things we don't need to pack a lot of stuff. We're still taking the 3 to kind of offset the miles. And once a month, I'll take the Y for a week to kind of offset the miles as well. So it's not doing so much time commuting and stuff. So I think that's all my electric cars. That's my electric car resume, so to speak. So then a couple of years ago, my kids were like, "Oh, you got to have a YouTube channel. You have a media background. You like to talk, and you've got Teslas. Why not do a Tesla, YouTube channel?" So my kids got me interested in doing this, and here we are today. I figured, you know what? At the time, the light bulb went off in my head. Kids were kind of right. I had never done video. I'm an audio guy. I'm a radio guy, background, syndicated, podcasts, audio. Audio is still my thing. Never done video, never did editing or anything like that. And I've realized it's not too much different, but there's definitely a difference in video and editing and creativity-wise and all that kind of stuff. So I'm having fun with this. It's great. I figured back then when they gave me this idea, I'm like, we bought the 2 most expensive things needed for the channel, and that's the car. All the equipment, phones, cameras, whatever, mounts, that's the cheap stuff. We already have the expensive part. Why not get them, do the channel, and talk about what you love? And this has definitely become a hobby of mine. I love these cars. I love electric cars of all kinds. But we happen to have 2 Teslas at the moment, and I couldn't recommend them higher enough. We've had so much fun with these cars, so much good luck, so much, they're just so reliable. If you see online all the horror stories, you're gonna see that. Some people are gonna have problems. Some people are not gonna have problems. We've got 2 of them, and they've never seen the service center, ever, for any reason. Every little tiny little bizarre thing that has happened, I'd say I can count on one hand. and they've done mobile service on them. Mainly maintenance, tires, air conditioning filters. That's about it. It's been a great journey, and I appreciate you joining me on that journey here on Tesla Tips and Trips. Thank you for letting me, kind of give you my background, why I'm doing this channel, what my background is, letting you know kind of I'm not a rookie at this stuff, but at the same time, I don't know it all. Not even close. Not even in the realm of possibility of knowing it all. So I'm not trying to be here telling you that I know it all. I know what I know. I like to share what I know with you guys. And I've got the 2 cars and I've got the channel. I figured here we are. So tell your friends about us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we will catch you on another video. Thank you for letting me, I don't know, rant, talk, chat with you. It's just fun, it's just EV stuff. Can you believe this was a Tesla? At least on the inside, the guts, Tesla guts, and Toyota outside stuff. So I'm so glad I kept this. This is pretty awesome. All right, join us on another video coming soon here on the channel. It's called Tesla Tips and Trips and RAV4 EVs.